I know I'm going to probably get some flack for doing this or expressing my opinion, but that's okay. Guitar players generally look at the price of an amplifier and they think that just because it's, I don't know, let's say $2,500, $3,000, that it's a ripoff and that the builder is making too much money. Well, you know what? There's something to be said for a handmade item. You look at this, it doesn't matter what brand it is, but when you see an amplifier with construction technique that looks like this, you should run the other way. Because what you may save on your initial purchase, you're going to pay back when it comes time to do repairs. Because in order to do a repair, a proper repair on an amplifier like this, for instance, you see these three capacitors, these electrolytics? They're leaking. Why? Because they used Illinois capacitor and branded capacitors, which have a tendency to fail early, a tendency. And you could see they're bulging out and flowering, they're leaking. So yeah, I could fix this in a way that's, it'll work and it'll be dependable, where I don't actually remove the leads, or I just clip the leads and apply the new capacitor to these old leads. A really proper repair would be to remove this whole circuit board and install the new capacitors in the same fashion as the old ones. But if you look at this amplifier, and there are hundreds of amps built in this exact same fashion, and their builders will defend their build technique no matter what. But the problem here is that if you want to take this board out, you have to remove everything. And I do mean everything. Tube sockets, the jacks that hold the speaker, that are wired to the speakers. You got to remove the input jacks. You got to remove the board that contains the potentiometers, all the knobs, all the nuts and washers that are being holding them in place. And in the end, what you're going to end up paying for is, instead of just a few minutes of time for doing the actual repair, you're going to pay for whatever the hourly rate is times 2, because it'll probably take close to an hour to take it apart and close to an hour to put it back together. And then the risk is run that just by touching or handling something, you could break a wire. And it doesn't matter whether I'm doing it or another tech is doing it. Good reputation, bad reputation, doesn't matter. Just the act of touching the product can cause a break. This wire, if you look at it cross-eyed, it can break off from here or break off from its solder joints because it's so cheap. The same thing that goes with the circuit board. No difference. You touch the wire, it's broken. So in my opinion, when you see an amp that's built with this kind of construction technique, you should just run the other way and spend the extra money and buy a well-built amplifier that lends itself to repair. This does not, and you will pay back the money that you saved in buying an amp like this. You will pay back over time in repair, because it takes much longer to fix an amp that's built like this than it takes to fix an amp that is built properly.